Here's what happened round 14 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Flanders at Lommel in Belgium. MX2 race 1. Jago Geerts held a tight line to come away with his second foxhole shot of the campaign. His teammate Thibaut Beneston quickly into the lead though by turn 2. Just behind them, Simon Langenfelder was well placed, so too Rowan van der Moosdijk, who quickly got into second position and then took over the lead by the end of the lap with this pass on Beneston. Jago Geerts then leaped past his teammate. It was a heavy landing to move into second, and Kai de Wolf then moved into third as he made that move on Beneston. He then went after Jago Geerts. Top of your screen, Tom Vial fell from 8th. He picked himself back up in 17th place. He would eventually come home in 7th. All eyes on the battle at the front though as Kai de Wolf found his way past Jago Geerts on lap 8. And then, top of your screen, Liam Everts also having a fantastic ride. Got into third with a pass on Rowan van der Moosdijk. Fell a couple laps later. Would eventually come home in 5th on the Diga Procross KTM. Kai de Wolf victorious in race 1. It was his second career race win. He edged out Jago Geerts, Langenfelder, Beneston and Everts. MX2 race 2. Once again, it was Jago Geerts who held a tight line through the first turn. He crossed the foxhole shot line for the 3rd time this year. Kai de Wolf alongside him, though, as they went towards turn 2. Also well placed in orange, Jan Panzer, Langenfelder in orange, just behind them in red, sorry. And then Tom Vial, a much better start for the 28 this time around. But once again, the top 2 were Kai de Wolf and Jago Geerts. Geerts being passed by Kai de Wolf on lap 3 in what was in front of an enthusiastic crowd. Mikkel Harp and Adamo were going for it. Harp then had his bike expire whilst in 8th. He would not score points. Changed for the lead after a mistake from Kai de Wolf this time. Geerts going through on lap 7. Tom Vial eventually surged past the white Husqvarna of Rowan van der Moosdijk to get himself into 4th place. And Simon Langenfelder then made this move on the 74 of Kai de Wolf to move into 2nd. He stayed there for 4 laps. But then he had all kinds of problems. You can see, corner of your screen, tipping over. He eventually came home in 9th place. Jago Geerts crossed the line, though, for his 30th career race win. Kai de Wolf 2nd, Kevin Horgmo 3rd, Vial 4th, Van der Moosdijk was 5th. And that meant that Jago Geerts, with a 2nd and a 1st, stood on the top step of the podium for the 15th time in his career. Kai de Wolf 2nd with a 1st and a 2nd. Tom Vial managed to get on the podium 3rd overall after Langenfelder's problems on the final laps. Jago Geerts then extends his lead. It was 8 points over Tom Vial coming into this round in Flanders. He now heads to Sweden with the red plate and a 23-point advantage. Langenfelder is 3rd. Horgmo and Beneston ran out the top 5.
I'm really happy about today. Guy was really fast the first lap, the 2nd heat, but I managed to pass him after like 10 minutes, and then I pulled away like 3.5 seconds in 1 lap, so I knew I had the win, that the win was possible, and then I just kept going, and yeah, really happy with the overall win here.
In the MXGP races, there were all kinds of surprises in store for us. MXGP race 1, Jorge Prado, no surprise there though, as the Red Bull Gas rider got over the foxhole shot line ahead of everybody else for the 14th time this year. Behind him, Jeremy Seewer, Tim Geiser in red, Roman Fevre in green, and Brian Bogas, who was quickly on the charge. Roman Fevre and Calvin Verlanderen were having their battles, and eventually Fevre got the better of Verlanderen and Geiser as he surged into 4th position. Seewer then made a mistake that allowed Fevre to go through into 3rd. Fevre then took over 2nd position with that pass on a fading Jorge Prado, who was not feeling well. A mistake from Seewer allowed Verlanderen through. He also found his way past Prado in the same exchange at the end of the straight. All of a sudden, he was up into 3rd place, Calvin Verlanderen. Another bobble there from Prado allowed Jeremy Seewer a route by into 4th position. And then another mistake there from Prado allowed Koldenhoff to go through. Prado eventually faded to 9th. Koldenhoff came home in 4th place. Man on the charge, though, in the latter stages of the race, Calvin Verlanderen. That moved from 3rd to 2nd on Roman Fevre, but it was a first ever career race win for Brian Bogas ahead of Calvin Verlanderen and Roman Fevre. MXGP Race 2. And once again, as everybody else ran wide, watch Jorge Prado holds a nice tight line, emerges with another foxhole shot. Smart riding from the Spaniard. Black plate number 15 now for the number 61. Behind him, Ben Watson, Glenn Koldenoff, Sewa, Fevre and Bogus. Geiser in there as well as Valandren before the end of the lap. Brian Bogus was past Ben Watson as he moved into third place. Jeremy Sewa fell from 7th, picked himself back up in 10th. Change for the lead as Glenn Koldenoff jumped past Jorge Prado to move into the lead on lap 4. Brian Bogus was 3rd. Fevre found his way past Geiser to move into 4th, and then quickly past Bogus to move into 3rd place. Valandren eventually got the better of Tim Geiser as Fevre moved past Jorge Prado. Prado tipped over in the next corner. He then dropped down a few positions to 9th place. And once again, all eyes on the battle between Valandren and Fevre. This would determine the outcome of the podium. At that stage, Valandren was on the top step. As Sewa got the better of his teammate, Maxime Renault, to move into 5th place. Just over a lap to go, though. Brian Bogus, standing construct Husqvarna Factory Racing, found his way past Roman Fevre to move into 3rd, and it would prove decisive as Glenn Koldenoff took his 2nd race win in his 10th career victory in the race. Calvin Valandren followed him home in 2nd. Brian Bogus, though, 3rd. That was good enough for him to stand on the top step of the podium for the first time in his career. The race finished, Koldenoff, Valandren, Bogus, but it was Bogus for the 1st and the 3rd with his first ever MX Grand Prix victory, coming home ahead of what was an all-Dutch podium, Valandren and Koldenoff. Tim Geiser now 122 points clear of Jeremy Sewa. Jorge Prado 3rd, 18 adrift of the Swiss. Koldenoff and Renault change places. Koldenoff now 4th, Renault 5th. Tim Geiser continues to lead, though, but what a podium and what a day for Brian Bogus and standing construct Husqvarna.
We are doing it now for my little boy, and that it works out like this, it's amazing. I want to say thanks to everybody who helped me, who believed in me, and you know, it's just so special, you know. And a podium is nice, but the GP win, even a moto win in the first moto, I can describe the feeling. It's so nice.